Hey, darlings. In the close hospital room, Anatoly was looking into the ceiling. His thoughts, like a dense fog, were floating in the air. Vera, with her elegant figure and warm smile, seemed a gentle light among the cold sterility of the surrounding space. Their daily meetings ceased to be a measure of life. A connection between them, stretching beyond the limits of ordinariness, appeared. "How do you feel today?" Vera asked, and carefully adjusting the dropper. Her voice sounded not mechanical, but invited to a sincere conversation. Anatoly turned to her. "Thanks to you, I've recovered a little. In these white walls, which seem to be stuffy, I find a little island of peace." For Anatoly, Vera was not just a nurse. She became a comforting presence among restless decisions and pressure. But suddenly, the appearance of Elena, his wife, she broke the balance in the room. Her tension felt like a storm was coming. "Anatoly, we need to discuss the plans of the company," Elena said, trying to smile. Anatoly interrupted her. His voice sounded tired. "Elena, you are not able to participate in the meetings. Your health is the most important." Elena looked unhappy, but Anatoly was indecisive. His determination was reflected in his eyes. When Elena left, leaving behind the smell of spirits, Anatoly thanked Vera for her comforting presence. But the burden of her presence was hidden behind her smile. The next morning, the atmosphere in Anatoly's room felt tense. Elena and her strict posture embodied a resolution, while Anatoly seemed to be calm before the pressure. The conversation about the future of the company was like a dark cloud in the air. "It's time to consider alternative options for the future of the company," said Anatoly with determination. "We need a person with a common sense and clear vision, who can sincerely and faithfully continue this legacy. The battle has not yet been won." When Elena left the room, Anatoly looked at her with mixed feelings of sadness and disappointment. "Do you see, Elena? This is the problem that we lack at this important moment." Anatoly was sad. Elena was shocked and tried to keep control of the situation. She apologized and promised to sort out what had happened. But it was too late for Anatoly. He had already made a decision. "No, Elena, it's time to consider other ways for the future of the company," he said firmly. The battle had not yet been won. In the hospital room where the fates are intertwined, Anatoly called Vera to himself. His weak voice penetrated her heart, which held importance and secret. "Vera, I have something urgent and important that I must inform you of," he began, as if drawing her attention. Vera approached him, listening closely, ready to take in each of his words. Anatoly breathed deeply, as if in every sound he uttered his whole soul was sounding. "The annual meeting of our company is approaching, and I realize that my health is far from ideal. I have doubts about Tiago. Our company needs a strong leader who can be fully trusted, whom I consider a family." Faith has faded, amazed and happy at the same time from what I heard. Anatoly's request was so unexpected that his majesty pierced every cell of her. "Yes," Anatoly confirmed, meeting her gaze. "I need a person who has your honesty and compassion, who understands the true value of this company for me and for the whole world. I can't find anyone better than you." Vera, shocked, said that she is just a nurse and does not have experience in business management. But Anatoly smiled. In his eyes, the former determination lit up. "Vera, in the last few months, you have become more than a family to me. I need not just someone who will lead the company, but also someone who will embody its values. I want you to be by my side, like a daughter, not only like a nurse, but also like someone who shares the same obligations and passions." Vera was silent, absorbing the entire magnitude of Anatolia's request. He watched her, waiting for an answer, realizing that his own destiny and the future of the company depended on him. And so began a new chapter in the history of the company, right in those walls of the hospital ward. Vera Pereira took on the role that she never dared to dream of, nodding her head. I will do this, Mr. Anatoly, for you and for your company to be a personified. She replied. Gratitude shone in her eyes. Light, like a breeze. Thank you, Vera. This means much more to me than you can imagine, said Anatoly. Until Anatolia's hospital room turned into an extraordinary control center the following days. Anatolia and Vera spent hours discussing the details of the campaign, the future strategy, and, most importantly, how Vera should present them at the upcoming event. Vera initially felt overloaded, but gradually she began to feel a growing sense of purpose and responsibility. Remember, Vera, trust. The most important thing is that we must breathe new life into our company, and you are the key to this. Anatoly emphasized this by looking at her with pride and hope. And so, again and again, Vera took on Bremen, becoming not only a healing nurse, but also a reliable leader who has always carried on the company's values and mission. She became the embodiment of strength and determination, the embodiment of the true Russian spirit. And on the day when Vera entered the stage before the events, her presence caused the silence of the audience. Inside her, the spark of the true passion of the leader was burning. She spoke with rage and conviction, rising above the expectations of all present. Her words sounded like a battle cry, filling the room with powerful vibrations. And then everyone realized that in this simple appearance of a medical angel, a true heroine is revealed. Vera Pereira is a symbol of power, growing from the most unexpected places. Her story became an inspiration for everyone, proving that the true power lies within each of us, and we can turn the impossible into the possible. Anatoly looked at Vera with pride and gratitude. He knew that she would lead them to new heights, giving hope and change. Together they overcome obstacles, because they had something more than just a working relationship. They had trust, love, and family bonds, intertwined around the goals that were most important to them. This is how the new chapter in the history of the company began, and let it be remembered as the story of Vera and Anatoly, two hearts beating in a single dream. It was necessary to know only one thing. Their hearts embodied the essence of the company. Anatoly advised Vera to review the list of key moments together. She promised not to disappoint him, realizing the importance of her role. However, not everyone was happy with their initiative. Elena did not hide her contempt and concern when she heard Anatoly's proposal. When she met him in the hospital, she suspected that there was an awkward conversation. Anatoly, what are you thinking? How can a nurse represent us at such an important event? It's absurd, Elena said, holding back her anger. Despite her weakness, Anatoly remained unwavering. Faith embodies everything we are fighting for. The company was a symbol of honesty, devotion to work, and sincere attention to the well-being of others. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about Ivan, said Anatoly's disappointed voice. Elena realized that direct confrontation would not lead to anything, and decided to change the tactics. If you are so determined, let us at least help with the preparation. After all, we are all family, right? She suggested. But these words sounded in the ears of Anatolia, reminding him of his own destructive path. That night he was again mentioned in the headlines, dragged into another scandal. At an exclusive party, the news reached Anatoly and Vera, strengthening their determination. You understand, Vera, that this is the need to do everything right, not only for the future of the company, but also for the legacy that I will leave behind. Anatoly spoke with sadness and determination. A week later, a huge hall, where a corporate event took place, played a soft light and was decorated with luxury, creating an atmosphere in which professionalism and luxury are intertwined. Faith, beautifully dressed, was moving gracefully among the guests, hiding her inner anxiety for external confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, she began. Her voice sounded clear and filled the spacious hall. It is a great honor to be here today and to represent not only Anatoly Santos, our founder, but also the indelible spirit of our company. Vera continued to speak, describing the future that was praised by the heritage of Anatolia and called on all those present to be inspired by his example. Vera spoke of the significance of each employee and their ability to contribute to the success of the company. Silence reigned in the hall, and then applause filled its space. Guests began to stand up and applaud Vera, recognizing not only her speech, but also her presentation of the company. Vera felt proud and grateful, realizing that she and Anatoly were able to convey their passion and devotion to everyone present. Since then, Vera has become an integral part of the company. Her leading role as a nurse and her ability to inspire and motivate other employees have brought noticeable changes. The company has become more effective and united. Their clients have felt the difference and became happier with their services. Vera and Anatoly became the symbols of success and an example for others. Their story became a legend, told by new employees to inspire them to achieve heights. Years later, when Anatoly was no longer with them, his heritage continued to live in the hearts of people, thanks to Vera and her dedicated efforts. Thus, Vera was able to justify Anatoly's trust and represent the company at an important event. The loyalty and ability to inspire others made her an indispensable asset for the company. The event ended with a loud applause, and Vera, finishing her speech with a loud applause, felt how the stranger whispered to her, "Miss Pereira, I am sending you a message from Mr. Anatoly. He says that he trusts you more than ever and that you do exceptional work." Vera nodded, feeling relief and strength of her resolve. There was no way back. She stood on the side of Anatoly, the company, and everyone who depended on her. Meanwhile, Tiago, unable to get rid of the feeling that he had crossed the moral line, which he had no return from, looked at the documents again before signing them with trembling hands. Elena looked at him with a solemn smile on her lips. The great work of Tiago is now left to be expected. Vera left feeling tired but full of hope. However, after the event, the atmosphere around Anatoly changed, and a feeling of anxiety was born in her heart. Elena and Tiago, supporting the facade of care and love, began to show their true essence. The next day, after the incident, when Vera checked the medicine for Anatoly, he shared his suspicions. "Something is wrong, Vera. Elena and Tiago have been different lately, and not the best," he said, worried. Vera sat next to him, grumbling. "What do you mean, Mr. Anatoly? Is there something specific that made you feel that way?" she asked. "Their visits have become more frequent, but not for regular visits. They are more interested in my documents and legal issues, and I haven't been able to find the folder for several days." Anatoly explained with disappointment in his voice. Vera thought for a moment. "This is disturbing, Mr. Anatoly. Would you like me to talk to your lawyer? Maybe she can clarify this question," she suggested. Anatoly nodded. "Please, Vera. And thank you. I don't know what I would do without you," he said with gratitude. Anatoly's room was taken away by Vera, and the moment passed by. Anatoly found an old necklace hidden between the pages of the book. It was old, with a medallion that kept a familiar picture. It caused a storm of emotions in Anatoly. "Do you recognize this?" she asked, pulling the necklace out of his hand. Anatoly took the necklace with his trembling hands and carefully looked at the picture. "This is the but their bodies were never found." This is the as the story became more and more confusing the next morning, when the morning sun's icy glow began to penetrate through the thin curtains, Vera and Anatoly decided to act. They met Inspector Nuno, a well-known artist of solving confusing riddles. "Thank you for coming, Inspector," Anatoly began, shaking his hand. "My pleasure, Mr. Santos. I heard a lot about you and your situation. How can I help you?" asked the inspector, sitting down feeling a mixture of respect and curiosity. Anatoly mixed sadness and decisiveness with his voice when he explained. It's about my wife and son Ivan. Their last actions and events made us suspect that they are up to something against me. And we also want to reveal my true roots, something that may be connected to the events that are taking place. The inspector, interested, nodded. Looking at and we will keep an eye on their movements and finances regarding Elena and Ivan. At that time, Duarte approached Vera, Anatoly's former colleague, who knew Vera's biological mother, Arlene, and saw a photo of the Ogerelia left to them. Vera said, "You can know something about it," showing him the photo. Duarte's eyes were lit with memories when he took the photo in his hands. Of course, it was Arlene, Anatoly's first wife. They loved each other. Their feelings were sincere. After the accident, everyone thought that the girl had left her life with her mother. At that moment, Inspector Nuno gathered Vera and Anatoly in a hurry meeting in the room, lit by the ghostly light of the desk lamp. There was a lot of tension in the air. "We have the results," he started, looking seriously. "DNA tests are undeniably confirmed. Vera, your biological daughter, Anatoly." Anatoly, with tears in his eyes, clasped Vera's hands. He always felt that there was a special connection between us. "It was a real miracle," he muttered, shaking. Vera, overflowing with emotions, could barely express her feelings. "Papa," she whispered, tasting the sweetness of this unique and natural moment. Then, Inspector Nuno revealed the cunning tricks of Elena and Ivan. "We found evidence of their attempts to change the will in their favor and seize control over the company and its assets. But they barely realized this news as the bell rang at the meeting. Elena called an urgent meeting of shareholders in a desperate attempt to speed up her malicious plans. They are trying to get ahead of us," said Inspector Nuno. "Then we should act. I won't let them destroy what I created." Vera stood next to him, undisturbed. "I will be with you until the end," she said decisively. At the meeting where the shareholders gathered in the atmosphere of tension, Elena was going to speak when Anatoly, Vera, and Inspector Nuno interfered. The whisper went through the hall when they took their places. "My wife wants to say a few words," Anatoly said firmly. It was time to build a future of company, but not against the background of betrayal and greed. Elena got pale when Tiago began to get nervous on the chair. Anatoly continued to reveal the true essence of Vera and the machinations of Elena and Tiago. Shock and disapproval took over the hall. Elena tried to justify herself, but Anatoly killed her. The truth was revealed. "Vera, my real blood daughter, is the true heir of my heritage," he said. The shareholders, having faced the truth and seen the evidence, turned against Elena and Tiago, and the meeting ended with their deprivation of leadership. Having left the room, Anatoly shook Mar's hand. "Today, we not only protected the future of our company, but also restored justice," he said proudly. Faith with admiration and love, she looked at her father, feeling renewed hope after the stormy meeting of the shareholders. At that time, Inspector Nuno and Luisa worked tirelessly to guarantee that Elena and Tiago would not leave justice for their crimes. The evidence was astonishing. When they tried to hide, they heard the sounds of approaching sirens, and then the police broke into the room. "Elena Silva, Tiago Silva, you were arrested for the charges of attempted fraud and poisoning. You have the right to remain silent," the police leader declared, holding the order for arrest in his hands. Elena looked at Anatoly with rage. "This is a mistake. Anatoly manipulates everyone. I will not let him destroy our lives." She protested, but the faith was firmly intervening. "Proofs speak for themselves. You tried to manipulate the will of Anatoly Santos and tried to kill him. Justice has come to you," she said. Ivan, in turn, made a humble impression. His provocative pose was scattered before the reality of the situation. "Mom, enough. We can't avoid it," he said, when the handcuffs were put on them. Anatoly and Vera looked out the door. Their faces expressed relief and sadness. "Papa, everything will be fine?" Vera asked, worrying about how this moment would affect Anatoly. He sighed, watching how he was taking away Elena and Ivan. "Everything will be fine, Vera. This is a sad day, but justice must win for the sake of our family and our company," he answered. Louise approached the document folder, pressed against the armpit. "Anatoly, Vera, I guaranteed that the will and the documents of the company are in perfect order. After that, you will be able to start the restoration without any doubts or betrayals," she said. Anatoly thanked her with a hearty hug. Vera looked closely into the future. "We will restore everything and make the company of Santa with a symbol of honesty and decisiveness," she said with determination. "This is only the beginning of the new era." The arrest of Elena and Tyaga was the culmination of the dark chapter in the life of Anatolia and Vera, but also opened the doors of a new era, full of hope and promises. Father and daughter are not wavering, standing face to face with any challenges, abandoned in their path, strengthened by the truth and bound by indestructible bonds.